Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our official website, thestephenknightshow.com, which recently got a facelift. And if you'd rather watch us, go to our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. All right, well, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. That should be Robin Dixon's motto after she and her off-again, on-again husband, Juan Dixon, went ahead and officially tied the knot again. According to People magazine, footage from the pair's big day will be featured on the 7th season finale of Real Housewives of Potomac. Their nuptials took place after filming had already concluded, and it remains unclear whether the footage shown in the last episode will be material recorded by the couple or by Bravo's camera crew. But either way, it seems as the Dixons, who are high school sweethearts, are truly committed to giving marriage another chance. Interesting enough, none of the Potomac housewives were seen at the ceremony, with sources saying that Robin will utilize the reunion special to talk about getting hitched to her high school sweetheart. The reality star and her man got married back in 2005 before filing divorce in 2012. They shared 2 sons, Corey and Carter. Now, while fans are sure to speculate why Robin chose not to have any of her cast members at the wedding, the mother of 2 did mention in a previous interview last year that she decided to walk down the aisle, that when she decided to walk down the aisle, it would be very intimate. Now, clearly Robin already knew that when she did say that, it wasn't going to be in front of a big crowd. She said, I don't even know if I want a wedding. I don't know if I need one, like a traditional wedding, she explained. I'm going to keep it super simple. It will be just us 4. We're not telling anyone. Now, the pair initially planned to tie the knot last summer in Jamaica, but those plans were said have fallen through. And while details of the ceremony have been kept under wraps, presumably because Bravo will have exclusive footage already secured, it remains unclear whether the couple ended up signing a prenuptial agreement. She was very adamant about him signing a prenuptial agreement because before he cheated on her when they divorced before. Now, he's a former NFL player. Now he's a college basketball coach. He's currently under investigation for helping players catfish or a coach catfish players or something sexual related. Now, it's interesting that they got married now because Robin, she's a friend of the show. She's been on our show before during their first season, but on the show, her and her husband, they've got divorced, but they've lived together. They've raised their 2 kids together, and they got back together. And so they've been planning this wedding for a few years. Some cast members don't believe they were actually going to get married. They feel like all this is fake for the cameras. There's been rumors that he's cheating on her. This came out in yesterday's episode that he's cheating on her with some woman in DC. And so with all of that being said, now we find out they just got married. People are kind of scratching their heads because they feel like there's something going on with this relationship. Now, I doubt any of you all watch this show, but I'll ask you Nayyir, do you think being on a reality show, knowing that there's a lot of speculation on your relationship, now on the show, she does have one really close friend who's a cast member. She's supposed to be really close, to do everything together. She wasn't at the wedding. But do you fault her for not having the show, including the cast in her show, on her wedding? Or do you understand why they decided just to be private and do it on their own?
I definitely understand. I can't fault either, but I know that it would have probably made for better TV, but it seems like maybe it's just something they wanted to keep sacred, something they just wanted to really, really keep private and as personal as possible, considering the fact that everything else is always filmed and all the cast is in on everything else that's happening in their lives, including the public. So maybe this was one thing that they're just trying to protect, but you're in the business, so it's expected of you to kind of share those moments. But then again, maybe they got another plan. Maybe they got something, some other way that they're going to try to monetize that. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, last night when it was speculated that he was cheating on her with another woman, she called him. They were out the country. She called him with the rumor, and he snapped, went off on her, he said, I will fight everyone on that cast. He said, they're just trying to destroy us. That was the episode that aired last night. And today we find out they're married, which of course the show was shot, months ago. I'll ask you, Chike, good timing, or is there more to it? Do you think Bravo has the rights to the wedding? What do you think?
Well, I'll say this, hey, Robin, how you doing? I hope you come on back on the show and you can talk to us about the situation. We'd love to have you back on.
Absolutely.
Me knowing some reality TV folk, it was a nice way for her to corner her storyline without having to share it with anyone else. I'll say that. She was very smart that way, because this way she can control the narrative. Whatever comes of it, she can control it. If she opens it up to the other cast members, she now kind of like opens up her storyline to be infiltrated with other storylines. So I'm not mad at her for keeping it private, keeping it. She may be angling for a spinoff. We don't know. So you don't know. Her husband may be deciding to, move in a different direction. Who knows?
Yeah, so I'm thinking something like that. Yeah, I'm thinking it could be possible.
Like some other people we know, like Tamar Vance. Remember them? Yeah. So.
They won't get a spinoff. They're not that exciting. But and we love Robin. We love Robin, but she's not. They're not. But I will say this. It's interesting because in the article it said they were supposed to get married in Jamaica this past summer. Mm-hmm. On the show, as is current, that was what she told the cast. We decided because her brother-in-law is getting married in Jamaica, and so they were going to have their own private ceremony the next day after. She got a little backlash from the cast, but they ended up not doing that, but they got married now. So it's interesting. I don't know.
So maybe she was angling for her wedding to be paid for by the network and have it filmed at the same time. These reality show people move a little differently. This is a business.
But the only people there were her and her husband, their kids, not her parents. Both her parents are alive.
Steven say they're not gonna get no spinoff. They're not that excited.
They're not. Listen, they're petitioned to have her fired from the show because it says she has no storyline. Yeah.
Well, she created one. She's getting married.
So she got married. Lynia, what are your thoughts on this?
So I don't do that whole reality TV thing.
I know.
So I'm gonna say this. Congratulations to that lady I don't know. Congratulations to that fella I don't know. And whatever to the show that y'all on. Congratulations.
Well, let me ask you this, because I saw some women saying getting married while her fiance is going through a legal battle is kind of not a good idea.
What's he going through?
He's a coach for a college basketball team.
It's pretty strange. The situation is very strange.
Was this the one with the assistant coach catfishing the player? Yeah. So the assistant coach was catfishing a player on the team, and if I read this right, catfished a player on the team like he was a woman, and then they were exchanging nude pictures, and so somehow he confided in the coach, not knowing that was his catfisher, and he acted like he was getting catfished by the same woman, and told the player that they had to have a sexual situation, or it was a couple of
encounters. I remember that story. I remember now.
And so they did it, and then he found out it was the coach that was catfishing him, and apparently Dixon, Robin's new husband, he knew all about it. He helped cover it up.
So can I ask a legal question? This is a legal question because you asked firstly, why would you get married and your husband's in the middle of all this legal drama? Is there a situation where they may come to the wife to ask her questions about their marriage as it relates to anything about this case?
But they've been living together all this time, raising a family.
Living together is not marriage.
Doesn't have to. If they're married, she doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like she wouldn't have to if they're married, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when they got married, as long as they're married. There's that, that thing between husband and wife, relating to their conversations, that can't be used. Like you can't touch that. So I still don't understand what the hell you just said, but okay. The assistant coach did all this foolishness, and then he blackmailed the player who was happening to, and the player.
No.
Yeah.
So a player on the team is dating this girl virtually.
Right.
They're exchanging nude pictures. It turns out it's really the assistant coach catfishing the player.
Assistant
And
coach.
so somehow, yeah, the dude. And so apparently the player and the coach, they're talking, and the coach says, "Oh, I'm getting catfished by the same girl." And so the coach says to the player that they're saying if we don't do a sexual act together, they're going to come public with the pictures and things that we showed over the time period. They do that, and it turns out the player finds out it's actually the coach, the assistant coach that was black, that was doing all of this stuff. And Juan Dixon apparently found out and covered it up.
I guess she's not talking.
Now look, Nayyir, that would be a storyline for Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They would get a spinoff then.
That just gave me a headache.
That's an awful lot of energy. That's an awful lot of energy to get the attention of one person.
You know, people
Like
Nayyir
said,
yeah, but you know, when you get going into something, you know, you pursue something where you get into it and you want more, and just, you know, keep going you keep getting deeper and deeper into the thing. That's usually what happens. Things like that. You know, he became, I guess, infatuated with the situation more than anything, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And getting what he was trying to get, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a victim here though. The victim is the player.
Right.
Yeah, he is.
But Juan's been under investigation because he helped cover that up.
He helped
allegedly. Yeah, he allegedly helped cover it up.
Allegedly.
Yeah. And the player got released from the team, I think.
Yeah, because the pictures, I think it was against his contract and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Was this college, high school?
Yeah,
college.
They're over 18.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's a hell of a storyline.
If she was a storyline.
But that kind of falls into that whole mess that went down at Penn State.
Does.
Let's not forget about what happened at Penn State. It falls right in line with that.
It does.
Yeah.
Very similar. Very similar. Same thing I thought when I first heard this situation. Yeah.
I need to read that because
these people are of the the chocolate persuasion, so we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
our last story. A 42-year-old Utah woman named Marcella Hill is open about the moment she found out she accidentally married her cousin while pregnant with his baby. Hill and her husband Tage have a blended family of 4 children, and they plan to celebrate their 12th wedding anniversary March 12th. No, I'm sorry, in March, 12 years ago. The cousins said "I do" to each other at a courthouse after work on a Wednesday. Well, Hill shared her revelation on TikTok last Monday. In a caption, she wrote, "Funny story, I accidentally married my cousin. We had no idea our grandma and grandpa were first cousin. Oops." In the video, Hill recalls when she was pregnant that she found out about her marrying her cousin. She said, "So I've never publicly told anyone that I accidentally married my cousin. So I was sitting on the couch looking for names for the baby that we're about to have, and I was on Family Search. And I was like, look, grandpa's name, grandma's name, great grandma's name, great grandpa's name. Husband next to me on his own Family Search, and he's like, oh, that's funny. We have the same grandma and grandpa names." Hill, who is the CEO of Love Woolies in Utah and the author of Wake Her Up, goes to explain. "I look at the line and it's like the same as mine. So I'm thinking, oh no, I forgot to log out of my account. Then we started looking into it and we realized that my grandpa and his grandma were first cousins. So they end up talking to the family, found out they all grew up together. The grandma and grandpa grew up together in the same home. They were cousins. So they did research to see if how much at risk they were for being third cousins and having a child together. And it turns out that research suggests that marrying the third and fourth cousins is so optimal for reproduction because they sort of have the best of both worlds. So I ask you this, and I'll start with you, Chike.
Thank you.
If you find out that you've been married to your cousin for 12 years, you all have 4 kids together, blended family, pregnant with the new one, do you stay together?
Well, but before I answer your question, I have to clap my hands to you and give you a salute on your delivery of this story, because it was very reminiscent of Color Purple and Whoopi Goldberg, Paul, not Paul, but is Paul. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
So my mom's gonna hate that I say this. She doesn't like when I say this, but her and my dad were cousins.
Really?
In the sense that my Uncle James and my Aunt Vivian are married.
Mm-hmm.
My Uncle James is my dad's uncle.
Okay.
My Aunt Vivian is my mom's cousin.
Oh.
So my dad and my mom are related by marriage.
By marriage.
Yes. But it can get a little weird because how do I have cousins on both sides, but they're both related to both my parents? It's a little weird. Makes you think. But anyway, so my grandmom had 18 kids, right? With that amount of children in the world, our family's duty was to make sure that we knew our family. My mom used to always say, you dating somebody, bring them home because we need to see them. We need to look at the eyes. We need to look at the shape of the face. We need to ask who the parents are because we need to know if they're related. You have to do your due diligence when you have big families or when you live in small towns. You just have to. I mean, the damage is already done. You're already married. You didn't already did the deed, right? You married, right? At least you love each other.
And look, when they go to the family reunion, they'll be at each other's family reunion.
Hey.
There was a story we posted on Stephen I Show Instagram where there was a brother and sister who found out they were.
That was nasty. That was nasty.
Yeah, and they've been married 10 years.
Nasty.
Nayyir, in this situation, what do you do?
Well, I mean, this is not uncommon, to be very honest, in many countries. Not even this far removed. I mean, like immediate cousins. This is very common to this day.
I'm sorry, but now I don't mean to jump in on your story, but let's not forget about the royals. The royals do this all the time.
Yeah, this is very common. So being third removed, if I'm 10 years deep, I mean, at that point, man, I mean, it is what it is, I mean, it would be a great conversation starter. It's a great dinner topic, but it is what it is. I mean, they just love each other. You don't know. They didn't know. They didn't go out seeking. I don't think they went out seeking their cousin or third cousin removed. So it's just a good conversation, a funny story. But kudos to them. They just doing something that's been being done for the last 100,000,000 years around the world.
I don't think I made a TikTok video about it, but Lynia, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
I guess the only thing that y'all been together 12 years. Why are you just realizing this now?
Because they're having their first child together.
But they've been married, so y'all never met y'all grandparents that are like you understand what I'm talking about? The grandparents. Your grandparents were alive. Y'all reached out to them, so they want to let y'all. They never crossed paths during these years.
That's true.
Family ever crossed paths this time? I know that it's not uncommon. I know that it's not uncommon because I will say this for me, but I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton is a small spot. You know what I mean? Everybody know everybody, and mess around with my dad. You know what I mean? He'd be like, well, such and such your cousin. I'm like, Dad, I don't know them people. He'd be like, but they're your cousins. I'm like, like one time I'm like years ago I met a guy and I'm like, we talking. I got to know your last name. What's your last name? He told me his last name. Oh, wait a minute, sir. That's my mama maiden name.
Yeah.
Come to find out he was a cousin. I said, you look, I ain't kiss you because you would have been struck already. So, I worked out in his favor, but I know that for me,
Right.
and just like in Camden, I told Chike, I said, for real, we might really be related because my dad is like Camden is a hub for my dad's side of the family. And my dad be like, because it's such as a city, I don't know them people. Like, they know you. Say, I don't know them. But it's gaggle of them in Camden, they in Trenton, they down south, they all over. These people could walk up to me on the street, smack me in the face. I still would know that they was family.
Yeah.
My aunt pushed us back to the slavery time. She got the ledger with the slave names and where they were sold to. I'm like, and she like, we got that white and that Indian and all that. Listen, I'm just saying, it's all types of things going on. So we're all related in some form of like one big melting pot. Hi, cousins.
Right.
That's true.
Check that family history. Listen, Lynia, Nayyir, thank you for joining us for Hot Topics as always. Episode 1, season 13 under our belts. Look, when we come back, we have our interview with the very talented Brad Marquis right back after this.